Hey friends, I want to share with you today about the tarot for 2025. So we're moving into a 9 year. 2025 is 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. And in the Major Arcana in the tarot, the 9 is the card of the Hermit. So when we think about a hermit, we think of someone who really is seeking solitude, is seeking some quiet, alone time where they can be with themselves, by themselves, and really withdraw from the crowd, withdraw from social, outer, external engagements and obligations. So the energy of the hermit for 2025 might be inviting all of us to find time and space where we can disconnect, right? So the world is very noisy in terms of news and world affairs, and just in your own closer to home personal life with all of your obligations around work and family and friends. And there's always a lot of noise. There's a lot of chatter. There's a lot of busyness. We've got these cell phones of ours, and we're constantly engaging with all kinds of social media and external input. And the energy of the hermit is to find places and times where we can get away from it all. So I'm going to show you some cards that I want you to reflect on for yourself and notice what you see, what stands out to you, what images in the card call to you, the what feelings or energy you're getting from that. And really, above all, what information or advice or guidance are these images giving you about what you might need for yourself for 2025? And then once you have identified and become more aware of what you really desire and what you want and need for around this kind of hermit energy, then you can actually make specific goals around that, right? And then you can actually accomplish and find that balance that you're seeking. So, here's the first one. This is from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is the more traditional deck. And the image of the hermit here, you'll see it's an older person, and it almost looks like they're standing in the clouds or on the top of a snow-capped mountain. And, there's this feeling of, I don't know, I look at this card and I feel some kind of wisdom, right? There's this like the elder, and the elder who's maybe leaving behind the trappings of, the outer world and moving with this lantern, but if you look closer, you'll see that there's a six-pointed star that is glowing and illuminated in that lantern. So I don't know, has he captured a star that he carries around with him in the daylight? What does that tell you about connecting with something higher, something mystical, cosmic, something that illuminates you? In Judaism and in Kabbalah mysticism, the um, the six-pointed star is the symbol of Tiferet. Tiferet has to do with harmony, balance, integration, right? And in the yogic world, the six-pointed star is is associated with the heart chakra, Anahata chakra, right? It's the balance, the perfect balance and blend of above and below, of the earthly and the spiritual. So, as a hermit card, what might that say about either what this person has really attained? In terms of this connection or what they're trying to catch hold of and keep as somehow guarded and precious. Where are they going with that? What is that offering you? Okay, the next one I'm going to show you comes from the Light Seers Tarot. And I love this because hiking is one of my favorite activities. And this feels like there was a journey. This wasn't easy. This was like, I need to get away from the world, take a break, get out to the mountains and walk for a long distance and climb and hike and do some effort. Really put in the effort to get to the top of something, to get to a higher elevated perspective. And what's awesome in this card is that she's actually sort of floating above. That maybe once she's put in that work and gotten away and really done the effort, she's actually in a place of transcendence where she's touching something that is enlightening her, right? And it feels like, yeah, there's again the illumination. That is a big theme of the Hermit card, that when we get away, when we take time to do soul searching, that something is illuminated to us from within, that we connect to our inner knowing, our inner wisdom, our inner heart and soul speaking to us, which may be speaking to us all the time, our intuition, our trying to guide us, and we don't always pay attention because we're so busy listening to everything outside. So this hermit energy gives us time and space to reconnect, right? And to have that inner like, aha, wow, I see this from a different perspective. Here's another one. This is from Kim Kranz's deck, which I'm forgetting the name of right now. Oh, the Wild Unknown Tarot. Um, this version of the hermit is the tortoise pulling inside its own shell. And I love that because you don't have to go somewhere far away to experience solitude. You can do that in the comfort of your own home, in your safest place. So, what are your safe places? What are the places that feel safe and sacred where you know you can disconnect? You can shut out all of the other things in the world and really get cozy and comfortable and kind of come back within. And again, there's the illumination here in this one. The candle is shedding brightness, light, warmth, right? I'm pulling in, but there's a purpose to it. It's not just to be lazy and to, binge Netflix for, the whole day, which I sometimes do, and that is part of my hermit routine. Sometimes you need a little disconnection, and it involves that. But we have a lot of maladaptive ways of hermiting if we're not intentional and conscious. So people disconnect through alcohol, through drugs, through other types of addictions. There are better adaptive practices of, okay, I want to disconnect, but there's some guiding light to that disconnection. What am I being drawn towards? Not just what am I fleeing or seeking a break from, but what am I being drawn towards? What is the wisdom I'm seeking? And then this one comes from a brand new deck that I've just been playing with and really, really love called the Millenial Tarot. And this is off the grid. So the Hermit as being off the grid, right? And I see this in our modern world as not just taking a vacation and getting away from work and getting away from daily routines, but maybe also disconnecting from technology, from the internet, from the news. Like, let me just go back to a simpler, calmer pace where I can be out under the stars, where I can appreciate the sunrise and the moonrise and, just the wind in the trees and just really be away in a place where I can decompress. So I love that card. All right. So some last questions for you to dwell in as you're preparing your goals for 2025, right? And integrating this energy into what goals you have for yourself. So one question for you is, do you have time scheduled for yourself in your weekly calendar that is set aside for you to be alone and to just do things that your heart and soul are calling you to do in quietude? Right? And the first act of like making something real and manifesting it is actually carving out the time in a very specific day, time, place. I know that Thursdays I don't see clients. It's my day where I don't work. I do often do prep work for, whatever I'm teaching and programs I'm running, but I do it in quiet. I don't talk to a lot of people. I design the day around doing things by myself, going to the gym, but being silent at the gym, going for a hike in nature and just appreciating, disconnecting. So that you might find even an hour a week, or 5 minutes a day. See what serves you. Another question for you is where? Where does solitude and hermiting exist for you? Like, are there sacred kind of places where you can go? Maybe that looks like setting up an altar. Maybe it looks like going to a church or a synagogue or a place of worship. And that's the place where I leave my cell phone home, I leave my worries home, and I come into my heart and my spirit. Maybe it's on the meditation cushion. Maybe it's on the yoga mat. Maybe it's going out for a walk and that's your solitude place, on the path. Um, Also, how do you go about connecting to your inner wisdom? So this one's a little trickier, right? But are you listening? How do you retune your ears and your mind's attention and mindfulness inward so that you're really listening to the wisdom from within yourself? And if you have a meditation practice, that is a great way to do that. If you don't yet have a meditation practice, there are so many great resources online and in books and on retreats and amazing teachers who can get you started to just do this work of becoming contemplative, right? Of really just being with and contemplating what is arising within you. And if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to share some of those with you, some of my favorite places to get started. And then another last question for you to consider is, what is the illumination you're seeking? What is the wisdom that you're seeking? And then once you start tapping into and finding some revelation and download of that wisdom, what is it that you seek to do with it for yourself, for your loved ones in the world, right? How does that wisdom become a gift and an offering? Um, Last thing of show and tell, I'm just going to show you this awesome shirt that I'm wearing, which again is a hermit card. And the artist envisioned this hermit as an owl, which is associated with wisdom and the nighttime, right? Being able to see through darkness and this halo of this illumination, this wisdom around what knowledge is present when we go into the darkness, when we go into the quiet. So I hope this is useful for you. Um, Definitely reach out to me if you want some guidance on calculating your personal tarot cards for the year, because that's a whole other overlay of energy you might be working with for yourself personally. The 2025 nine Hermit energy is for everyone. Your personal tarot cards would be your birth month, the date, the digits of your birth date, plus 2025. And if you add all of those together and you reduce it to the lowest number by continuing to add the digits, it's a little complicated. But for instance, if your birthday is February 1st, you would have a 2 plus a 1, which is 3. You would add that to the 2025 of 9. That gives you 12. So your number for the year would really be 12. Um, but you could also reduce that to 1 plus 2, which would also give you a 3. And you can look up the Major Arcana cards in tarot. There are 22 of them, and you can see what those numbers correspond to and what that might mean for you as an additional kind of wisdom to work with for this year. So I can help you do that work. I know it sounds complicated. You can email me, reach out, and I'm happy to give you your numbers and some guidance on what those numbers are related to. So anyway, I wish you a happy tarot journey this year. Um, Another thing you might want to do as a practice for this year, just to connect to your own intuition, and this, illumination, you can pull a card a day. A card a day. Get a tarot deck if you don't already have one. If you have multiple decks, choose a deck to work with for the year or choose from multiple decks and you pull one card a day and just ask yourself, what is this guiding me to connect to today? What is this information I'm just going to kind of be aware of today? You can journal around it. You can close your eyes, meditate, visualize around it. And just that practice for like 3 or 5 minutes might really be another way that you kind of come back into that inner journey. All right. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.